Right, we return to the international campaign, the 16 Days of Activism against gender-based violence that started today. The launch of 16 Days for No Violence Against Women and Children in South Africa was overseen today by the Deputy President in Mbombela in Mpumalanga. The civil rights movement #NotInMyName says that gender-based violence cannot be resolved until government and society deal with the underlying root causes. To discuss, we're joined by #NotInMyName spokesperson Themba Masango. Mr. Masango, thank you for being with us as always. What are those underlying causes that need to be addressed? I mean, of course, among them must be the low status of women. And we know that right now, even moms, even women are bringing up their girl children to believe that they are worth less than the boys in households. It's happening all over this country. How do you begin to deal with that?
Thank you so much. And indeed, it is a lot of underlying issues that all are building blocks that come up to a point where gender-based violence and femicide becomes this great wall that is sometimes impregnable. And as you rightly say, that in a lot of households, a lot of children grow up in an unequal way. For example, you'll have a family of boys and girls, and after supper, mom will tell the girls to stand up and go and wash the dishes while the boys go outside and play marbles, and tell the girls that it's their duties, instead of actually understanding that household chores are not actually have to do with gender relations, but have to do with actually keeping a place clean. So, and you know, when we're talking about issues of socioeconomics, this year we are also particularly focusing on people in the grey market, where informal workers, traders. These are mainly women that wake up in the wee hours of the morning, go into places such as bus stations, train stations, corners in town, and those places 9 out of 10 times are very unhygienic, are very volatile spaces where a lot of abuse happens to them from people of the law, and also just in the general space that they're in many times. And they work in environments where there is no leave, there is no such thing as maternity leave, there is no sanitary areas around the place, and many times those people get victimized and abused. So we need to look at these issues at a much, much deeper level, rather than just saying it's 16 days of activism and then everyone has got something to say. Great high speeches are being talked about, and 9 out of 10 times a lot of right things are being said, but many things are not being actioned on a daily basis to make sure that this is not just a 16-day thing, but a 365 day a year, 24/7 issue that we are all having hands on deck and making sure that we win the fight, because it can't just be government alone, it can't just be business alone. It needs every single person in the country to actually make it their fight, and that's how we'll beat it.
Well, I mean, the targets, I guess, would be the perpetrators who are the least likely to change. This comes after we saw that student stabbing another student, his wife, in broad daylight, that case being dealt with. So, and it went viral, and people watched, and some people videoed that incident rather than getting involved. I mean, going into this campaign, do you feel like there's hope, or can we say it is just a lot of hot air, given that we have this campaign every year, 16 days, nothing really happens?
I think the mindset shouldn't be about that it's a 16-day campaign. When it's like that, obviously then it's just about saying the right thing and ticking the necessary box and saying we've done this. But it should be a daily struggle to say that we want to change the mindset of perpetrators into actually realizing that violence to anybody does not work, particularly towards women and children, and to make men realize that we cannot wage a war on women if it is an internal struggle that you are fighting within yourself. And that's why we run specialized programs, specifically also focused at the boy child, to make sure that we are raising boys that are understanding and know the space and the environment that they're living in, and also understand that they are equal counterparts with their female counterparts, and they need to know that in this society we need to learn to live together, or we'll all perish.
And what sort of feedback do you get from boys? Do you have a sense that minds can be changed if we talk about these things to young people?
Definitely, and that's where it starts. We need to be able to start to talk about them to young people, specifically also to young boys. We need to be able to challenge the norm, that and the whole socialization of men and boys in society, for us to have the uncomfortable discussions. What do you do when you've lost your job and you're no longer bringing in the bacon, and the wife is the one that is making more money than you? What do you do in situations where perhaps you are going through depression, and so such examples need to be out there, and people go through all of these things, and be able to make them understand that you're not alone, and also to make boys to understand that there's nothing wrong with being masculine. You're made like that. The issue is when it becomes toxic. But there's nothing wrong with masculinity. We want boys who are hardworking, who are competitive, who are wanting to be achievers and so on. That's all good and well. The only issue is when it becomes toxic, when you use your masculinity in an abusive way, and that's where we have those discussions. And as I say, this needs all of us to put our hands on deck. It's not a political fight. It's a real human fight. It's something that all of us need to get together and put an end to it.
Yeah, well, thank you for being a man who is speaking out, and not in my name, spokesperson Themba Masango. And let me just give you some of the stats very quickly going into this campaign. Remember, crime stats came out from a little earlier in the year. Between July and September, actually less women were killed, but still 10 a day. Rape is down fractionally, but still 114 people are raped each and every day in this country. So something of a little downward trend, but certainly no cause to declare victory anytime soon.